Well, Red, I guess first of all, what's your guys' schedule been this week? What kind of approach have you taken to this week?
Well, we're trying to get the players a little rest, get everybody healthy, but we're still trying to get some good work in. So they've had today will be our second practice of the week. Really, we'll get after it pretty good, but they've had a couple off days in there too.
When you come back after today?
We'll be back Saturday.
Saturday.
We'll just treat Saturday like a Sunday and just move up our week one day basically.
Are you guys getting out recruiting a little bit this weekend?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of guys that are out right now, and really by tomorrow, everybody will pretty much be out.
Is there anything you guys tried to really focus in on this week? Something you wanted to get fixed, for the second half of the season, or?
Well, I think just general improvement, and then doing a self-scout and figuring out where your issues are. For me, special teams wise, it's just been we got to get the field goal thing dialed in and really improve that and make it consistent and something we can count on the rest of the way. And then we've had some opportunities on kickoff return, but we've got to work on converting those into performance.
With what you guys have been through, 4 out of the first 6 on the road and all the injuries, sense that this team needed a break this week?
Yeah, it's a great time for a bye, and I guess I really didn't even thought of it that we've been on the road 4 times. But, you always look for, as a coach, I think you're always going to try and take advantage of wherever it hits. It'll seem like it's the best time for it, but it does seem like this is a great time. We're at the halfway point. Our players could use just a little bit of rest. We need to get them fresh, and I think our schedule has really allowed us to do that. And I think guys will come back Saturday ready to roll.
How big an advantage is a bye? I mean, we saw Air Force had a bye prior to the Boise State game. It worked out well for them.
Well, I think it always helps because it gives you a chance to go back and really look at what you're doing and how you do it. And do you get a little extra time on the other opponent? Yeah, absolutely. So you can dial in a little bit on them. But I think it's, probably the best thing is to figure out, hey, where are we at? And when you do that, that helps you overall going forward.
So where are you ahead of where you thought you'd be maybe in your position groups, and maybe where would you like to see come back in the second half a little stronger?
Well, we definitely got to get the field goal and the kickoff return up to our standards. They're not right now, but it's not because of effort or anything like that. It's just some little things we got to fix, and I think we've done a good job this week attending to those. And I expect them to be better. Kickoff has been really good, so pleased with that. We've had some good opportunities on punt return. Just running back wise, Jay's obviously had a really good first half of the season. We just got to do a good job of eliminating the turnovers, and he's really working on that, and I expect him to be great and continue what he's done and take care of the ball and continue to show that he's as good a running back as there is anywhere.
What is he doing differently in that capacity?
Well, we've just made it more of an emphasis and tried to work some drills where we're putting ourselves in bad situations and making sure that we're taking care of the ball. And he's done a good job of that.
What happened on the exchange the other day?
Variety of things. But at the end of the day, we just can't have the ball on the ground.
You guys obviously made a decision to play Jeremy McNichols. Coach Harsin said that he was high on him at the beginning of camp and said that he'd travel. What made you guys decide to finally plug him into the lineup?
Well, we just thought he was a guy that could do something with the ball in his hands and give us a boost, and he certainly showed he can do that.
How talented is he? Because he also spent a lot of time, I noticed, with Coach Adams on the sideline. And how is he going to kind of be split up moving forward?
Well, we'll use him in both roles. He's a guy that he played receiver in high school. He played running back in high school. He's done both, and we want to utilize his skill set and let him do all those things. It'd be hard to defend when they don't know if he's a running back, is he a receiver. So going forward, we'll see him in both those roles.
He was wearing a black jersey when he was in practice for most of the year, right?
Yeah, he was with the scouts for a couple weeks there. I wouldn't say most of the year, for a week or two maybe.
I guess what was his reaction when you guys went over to him and said that you're going to go?
Probably shock first, but he's a phenomenal young man, and he was like, hey, whatever I need to do to help the team. So we said, well, we'll make sure it's worth your while, and I think we got off to a good start doing that.
How many snaps did he play?
20.
20. Mostly running back or mostly receiver?
Mostly receiver.
Okay. Is he meeting with you, or is he meeting with Junior, or both, or how are you guys doing that?
We divide him up. We move him around. He's got a pretty good handle on the running back stuff that we need him to do, so he probably, getting him grooved in at the receiver stuff's probably a little bit more important. But he does a good job of really studying and attention to detail is good. So he's one of those guys can handle that.
What is it you guys liked about his skill set originally bringing him in here?
He's a playmaker. He makes guys miss. He can break tackles. He's great with the ball in his hands. Has good speed, good agility, and I think those things showed up in the first game.
Probably expected him to do well, but to put up 80 yards on 5 touches or whatever, a little better than maybe you would have thought first game.
I would just say that's exactly what we had hoped to have happen.
Yeah.
We wanted to get him the ball about 5 times and wanted him to have some success doing with the ball in his hands.
Do you guys go into games thinking how many touches you want to get somebody, or is it just kind of?
No, not generally. I mean, we know the guys that need to touch the ball. His was maybe a little bit different case, just because we knew, hey, we got to see what he can do. So that's probably why. And we didn't have a set number. Trust me, it wasn't anything like that. It was just, if a guy goes out there and he touches the ball one time, is that really worth pulling a red shirt for?
So how does it challenge a true freshman to kind of change that mindset, 6 games into the season?
Well, I think the big thing is we've emphasized to him, but really probably to all of them, hey, you got to be ready at all times. You can't just look at this like, hey, I'm redshirt and it's no big deal. I'll get ready in spring ball. You got to have a win now mentality, and if you don't play all year, you'll still be better for it when we hit the spring. And I think our guys have done a pretty good job of understanding that. We've got a bunch of other good young guys that probably won't play this year, but they're getting better every week, and that's the stuff we need to see.
Do you feel like you might have had a little bit of the element of surprise with him against Nevada? I mean, he had some space on quite a few of his touches.
He did, but some of those plays were plays we were working on before we even knew he was going to be the guy that got the ball and that stuff. So it wouldn't necessarily matter if it was him or Jay or Devin Demas. I think the play itself kind of helped on that.
You mentioned the kicking unit. He's pushed 3 to the right. You've had 3 kicks blocked. What do you see with those 2 issues, and how do you get them fixed this week?
Well, the blocks have been a variety of different things. One was a kick, and 2 were different guys in protection. And I think the biggest thing there we've really emphasized is, hey, you got to expect the rush every single time. And our guys have done a better job of that. Sometimes it just takes one little let up, and that's where you have an issue. The kick is, a little bit of an interesting deal, because Dan, he's just got to go out there and strike it with confidence. But we did work on some technical things that I think will help, and seem to have fixed the issue. But that stuff, it's hard to tell until you're in a live game situation. It's always a little bit different. But I think the technique things we have ironed out. We went back and looked at some film and got a few things changed up a little bit, corrected. But at the end of the day, Dan's an excellent kicker, and when he goes out there and just hits the ball with confidence, it goes right through the middle. When you try and aim it, sometimes bad things happen. And it's a lot, we always talk a little bit, it's a little bit like a golf swing, and you hear all the great golfers talk about being committed to a shot. Once you decide what you're doing, you're committed to it and swing it, and don't try and do this or do that. And I think that's the big thing, just making sure the mindset's right.
We saw with Brotsman a few years ago, similar thing where from the left hash he was pushing him right and got into a bad rut for a year or something like that. For a kicker, the mental side of it, something like that starts happening, how hard is that for them to get through?
It's hard. It's definitely hard. But I don't think we're at that point by any means. Dan is, he's one of the best mentality guys I've seen as a kicker. I mean, he truly believes, hey, I got it. And it's funny because in both games where he's missed one or not hit the ball well, he's come back later in the game and drilled one. So I think he's got the right idea. We just got to not start off bad and work to good. We got to start good and stay good. And I expect him to do that.
You mentioned kickoff return. Is that your returners that aren't taking advantage of opportunities, or are they just not
Oh,
getting
we
the
just
opportunities
had
you want?
no, we just had a variety of issues, and we've had some personnel stuff. You know, some of these guys that have been injured, while not being huge impact on offense or defense, has had a pretty big impact on who we've had out there. And one of the harder things in football is the front line guys blocking on kickoff return. You're trying to block a guy that's got a 40-yard head of steam and space to beat you, and it's hard to simulate that in practice. And trust me, we do a lot of live stuff out there, but it's just hard to simulate game reps, game speed. And so usually the way you get better at that is you get kickoff returns in a game. And two things, we're up until last game, we really hadn't gotten a ton because of touchbacks, and our defense has been doing such a great job. But on top of that, some of the guys that had been getting live reps have been out for us, and so we got new guys in there and some of that. And we have, again, we've had a couple different returners back there. But I think that's something you'll see us get significantly better at over the second half of the season.
You looked at Fresno special teams yet, and if so, what stands out there?
The biggest thing that stands out is I've been away for a while, but they're still damn good. You know, they play fast, they play hard, they've got good players on there. You can tell they take pride in it. They've got good specialists. It'll be a good challenge for us.
With Jeremy, one more on him real quick. You know, how do you guys weigh the fact that the pros and cons of burning a red shirt and not only losing half the season this year, but also, you know, a full season down the road?
Well, I think twofold. You know, it still gives him the opportunity. Should he get hurt, he's got a redshirt year. So that's one of those things that's always the positive side of it. But B is, hey, how much of an impact can you make, regardless of full season, half season, just how much of an impact can you make on the team? And I think we saw during the game he can make a big impact. And maybe it's only for 7 regular season games, but shoot, who knows, you know, there should be a bowl game if we do what we're supposed to do, and opportunity for a conference championship game. So he's still got a chance to play a pretty good portion of the season this year, which, yeah, is it not a full year? No, but at the end of the day, hey, if I can make a big impact in 7 games, 8 games, 9 games, if I can be an impact player in those games, is it worth it? And then the other side of it is think about how much better he'll be next year because he's seen live game speed, live game reps. And we think that'll give him a great chance to make an impact on that stuff.